The morning the new student arrived did not feel special at first. It was just another Monday in a public secondary school in Lagos. The kind of morning where the sun was already hot before assembly ended and the ceiling fans inside the classroom struggled like tired men. Students dragged their feet to their desks, some still chewing gala, others half asleep, waiting for the day to pass. Then the classroom door opened. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just enough to pull attention. The teacher paused mid-sentence. Conversations died down slowly. Heads turned. Eyes followed one another toward the doorway. A boy stood there calmly, school bag on one shoulder, uniform neatly worn but slightly oversized, like it was borrowed. His face carried no fear, no pride, no rush. Just calm. Whispers began immediately. Who be that guy? No new student. See as he dey stand like say him own the place. The boy did not react. He simply waited. The teacher cleared his throat and asked for his name. The boy answered softly. My name is Elsa. Good morning. His voice was gentle but confident. Not forced. Not shaky. The teacher nodded and welcomed him, pointing to an empty seat by the window. As Eo walked between the desks, the whispers followed him like shadows. Some curious. Some mocking. Some suspicious. Lagos students were not kind to anything unfamiliar. He sat down quietly and looked straight ahead. That was when Zainab noticed him. She did not know why her attention shifted. She had been writing notes, already tired of the day, when her pen paused mid-sentence. Something about the way he sat. Calm. Unbothered. Like noise could not reach him. Sunlight brushed the side of his face through the window, and for a moment, the classroom felt lighter. She shook her head and focused on her book, but her mind kept drifting back. By break time, the rumors had multiplied. Some said he came from Abuja. Others said his parents were rich. Some claimed he was proud. Some said he was strange. Colonel, the class clown, laughed loudly about how the new guy did not even greet anyone. Amoka shook her head and said she did not trust quiet people. Eo ate his food alone under a tree in the school compound. He did not scroll his phone. He did not look around nervously. He ate slowly, peacefully, like he had all the time in the world. Zainab noticed. She pretended not to care, chatting with Amoka, but her eyes kept finding him. She wondered how someone could be alone without looking lonely. How someone could sit quietly without shrinking. Later that day, something small happened. Zainab rushed out of class, distracted by her thoughts, and her book slipped from her hands. Papers scattered across the floor. Before she could kneel down, someone else already had. Eo handed her the book. You dropped this. That was all he said. Thank you, she replied softly. Their eyes met briefly. Nothing dramatic. Just recognition. Something shifted. From that day, the classroom felt different. Eo did not try to impress anyone. He answered questions when called upon. He respected the teachers. He ignored gossip. Slowly, people began to notice that his silence was not arrogance. It was peace. Zainab found herself smiling more. Speaking up in class. Sitting straighter. Not because Eo told her to, but because his presence reminded her that being calm was a kind of strength. But not everyone liked that. Amoka noticed the glances. Connor noticed the quiet change. Whispers returned, sharper this time. They said Zainab was forming. They said Eo thought he was better than everyone. One afternoon, a joke was made loudly during class. Laughter followed. Zainab felt heat rush to her face. Eo said nothing. He did not defend himself. He did not explain. He simply stayed quiet. That silence hurt more than noise. Days passed. Distance grew. Zainab stopped sitting near the window. Ao stopped trying to help. The calm space between them turned cold. Until one afternoon, during group work, the truth slipped out. Ao spoke about moving schools because his mother was ill. Because silence at home was heavier than noise at school. Because peace was something he learned to protect. The room fell quiet. No whispers. No laughter. Zainab understood then. She realized that some people arrive quietly not because they are hiding but because they have already survived enough noise. From that day on, respect replaced rumors. People greeted Ao. Teachers trusted him. Connor laughed less loudly. Amoka talked less carelessly. And Zainab smiled again. The term ended quietly. No big confession. No dramatic ending. Just understanding. On the last day, as students packed their bags, Zainab spoke. Sometimes, new people change everything. Ao smiled, just slightly. If you stay real, time go speak. And as the classroom emptied, the lesson stayed. Not every arrival makes noise. Some arrivals change you silently. Some people do not announce themselves. They reveal themselves over time. And sometimes, the new student is not just someone else. Sometimes, it is you. Walking into a new season. Carrying calm into a loud world. After the term ended, most students forgot about the new student story. Lagos schools move fast. One term ends, another begins, and attention shifts like traffic at Odulegba. But for Zainab, something lingered. Not a crush. Not excitement. A quiet awareness that stayed with her long after the bell rang. When the new term resumed, Ao returned the same way he arrived. Calm. Focused. Unchanged. But the environment around him had shifted. People greeted him now. Not loudly. Not with drama. Just respect. Zainab noticed how easily people accepted him once fear left the room. It made her think about how many people she had misjudged simply because they were quiet. How many stories she never bothered to understand. One afternoon, rain trapped everyone inside the classroom. The ceiling fan squeaked uselessly. Conversations grew louder. Connor complained. Amoka argued about nothing in particular. Ao sat by the window, watching the rain fall on the dusty compound. Zainab found herself standing beside him without planning to. You like rain? She asked. It reminds me to slow down, he replied. Everything eventually settles. She nodded. That answer stayed with her. As weeks passed, they talked more. About school. About Lagos traffic. About how noise sometimes pretends to be confidence. Their conversations were never long, but they were real. No pretending. No performance. But life rarely allows peace to last too long. One morning, a phone went missing during break time. Panic spread quickly. Accusations followed. Someone mentioned seeing Ao near the desk earlier. Whispers returned, sharper than before. Zainab felt her chest tighten. She watched faces change. She watched respect crack. Ao said nothing. The teacher demanded answers. Voices overlapped. The room grew tense. Finally, another student confessed. The phone had slipped into his bag accidentally. Silence fell. Ao was cleared without saying a word. That day, Zainab realized something important. Silence can be strength, but it can also be a test. And not everyone survives it. Later, she asked him why he never defended himself. If I shout every time someone misunderstands me, I lose my peace, he said. Truth always finds its way. That sentence stayed with her longer than she expected. As the year progressed, Zainab changed. Not loudly. Subtly. She stopped laughing at jokes that hurt others. She stopped chasing attention. She started choosing calm. People noticed. Some admired her. Some misunderstood her. She learned to live with both. Ao remained steady. Teachers began assigning him leadership roles. Students listened when he spoke. Not because he demanded it. Because he earned it. On the day of the inter-school debate, something unexpected happened. Zainab froze. Her voice disappeared halfway through her speech. The hall felt too big. The eyes too many. She looked into the crowd and saw Ao nod once. That was all. She breathed. She continued. She finished strong. They won. Afterwards, she thanked him. I didn't do anything, he said. You reminded me who I already was, she replied. Time moved on. Exams came. Pressure followed. Everyone chased grades like they were running out of air. Stress returned. Noise returned. But something had changed permanently. Zainab no longer feared being misunderstood. Ao no longer feared being seen. On the last day of school, as students signed shirts and took pictures, Zainab stood quietly beside Ao. Do you think people ever really change? She asked. He smiled gently. People don't change when they are forced. They change when they understand. The bell rang. Bags were lifted. Laughter echoed. Another chapter closed. As they walked out of the gate, the sun setting behind them, Zainab realized the truth. Some people arrive to be noticed. Some arrive to be remembered. And some arrive to teach you something about yourself you would have never learned otherwise. The new student arrived quietly. But his impact stayed loud. By the time final exams ended, it was no longer a secret. People had noticed the way Zainab and Ao walked together after school, not too close, not too far. The way they shared quiet smiles instead of loud jokes. The way they defended each other without raising their voices. They did not announce anything. They did not post anything. They simply became something. Dating Ao did not feel like excitement the way movies described it. It felt steady. Safe. Like breathing without effort. He listened more than he spoke. She spoke more than she used to. They balanced each other without trying. When university admission list came out, they celebrated quietly. Ao got into a federal university in the east to study engineering. Zainab got into a university in Lagos to study mass communication. Different schools. Different cities. Same promise. We'll figure it out, Ao said. And they believed it. University life arrived fast and loud. Lecture halls packed with strangers. Freedom mixed with pressure. New faces everywhere. Zainab adjusted quickly. She joined the campus media team. She found her voice on radio. She spoke confidently now, not just for herself but for others. Ao thrived too. Late nights in the lab. Group projects. Leadership roles. He remained calm even when the workload tried to crush him. They talked every night. Sometimes long conversations. Sometimes tired silence on the phone. Sometimes laughter. Sometimes arguments that ended with understanding. Distance tested them, but it did not break them. Until life decided to interfere. In Zainab's second year, an opportunity came. An exchange program. 1 year abroad. A chance to grow. A chance she had dreamed of. She told Ao with excitement, then fear. That's big, he said. You should take it. She hesitated. What about us? He paused. We'll still be us, he said. Even if the distance gets louder. She went. At first, everything was fine. Calls continued. Messages flowed. But time zones changed things. Schedules clashed. Silences grew longer. Misunderstandings crept in quietly. Zainab was changing again. becoming more confident, more exposed, more visible. People noticed her. She was invited to events, interviews, gatherings. Ao felt it before he admitted it. The distance was no longer just physical. One night, an argument exploded. Words said too fast. Feelings misunderstood. Silence followed. Days passed. Weeks passed. Then the call came. Ao had been in an accident. Not fatal, but serious. Hospital. Recovery uncertain. Zainab froze. Fear rushed back like an old enemy. She booked a flight without thinking. When she arrived, he was thinner, quieter, but alive. She sat beside him without speaking. "I was scared," she finally said. "Me too," he replied. That moment reset everything. Recovery was slow. Ao had to pause school for a semester. Dreams felt delayed. Frustration crept in. He smiled less, spoke less. Zainab stayed, supported him, reminded him who he was before life tried to interrupt. But here came the twist neither of them expected. During recovery, Ao received an offer. A scholarship. Full funding. But it meant moving permanently abroad after graduation. A path he had dreamed of but never planned for. Zainab had her own plans now. Her career was taking shape in Nigeria. Her voice mattered here. They stood at another crossroads. This time, love was not enough to decide easily. Nights were filled with honest conversations. Fear. Hope. Uncertainty. "What if we choose different paths?" Zainab asked. "Then we choose each other honestly," Ao replied. "Even if the path is hard." In their final year, they made a decision that surprised everyone. They did not rush marriage. They did not force sacrifice. They chose patience. Ao would go. Zainab would stay. They would grow separately, but stay connected. On graduation day, they stood together again. Just like secondary school. Calm. Quiet. Certain. Some people thought their love would not survive distance. Years passed. Zainab became a respected media voice. Ao became a successful engineer. They met when they could. Supported each other from afar. One evening, years later, Ao returned. Not for a visit. For good. He found Zainab exactly where he left her. Strong. Calm. Real. This time, when he smiled, it was full. Some love stories are loud. Some are dramatic. Theirs was steady. The new student arrived quietly. He grew. He fell. He healed. And together, they learned that love is not about holding tight. It is about standing strong, even when life pulls you in different directions. And sometimes, the most powerful love stories begin with silence. Years pass quietly, the way meaningful years often do. Not with noise or headlines, but with steady progress, small wins stacking into big achievements. Ao and Zainab grew into the people they once imagined during those secondary school afternoons when the future felt far away. Ao's career flourished. Engineering projects turned into leadership roles. His calm decision-making, the same quiet strength that once confused classmates, became the reason people trusted him with responsibility. He worked on projects that mattered. Infrastructure. Innovation. Solutions that improved lives. His name began to carry weight, not because he chased attention, but because results followed him. Zainab found her voice fully. Media platforms opened their doors to her. She became known for thoughtful storytelling, for asking the question others were afraid to ask, for speaking with clarity instead of noise. Her work inspired young people, especially girls who saw themselves in her confidence. She did not forget where she started. She spoke often about growth, patience, and staying grounded. Through all of it, they stayed close. Not perfect. Not without disagreements. But steady. Mature. Intentional. One evening, after years of growth and distance and becoming, Ao proposed. Not publicly. Not loudly. Just the two of them, sitting quietly, remembering where everything began. She said yes without hesitation. Their wedding was simple but joyful. Friends. Family. Laughter. Music. No pressure to impress anyone. Just love that felt earned. Life after marriage was peaceful. They built a home filled with conversation, respect, and understanding. A place where silence was comfortable and laughter came easily. They supported each other's dreams without competition. They grew individually, but never apart. Then came the invitation. A secondary school reunion. At first, they laughed. It felt unreal. Years had passed, yet the memories felt close. The classrooms. The whispers. The first quiet conversations. They attended together. Walking into the school compound again felt like stepping into a memory. The same dusty ground. The same buildings. Older now, but familiar. Former classmates gathered, some louder than others, all carrying different versions of their past selves. Connor arrived first, still joking, but softer now. Amoka came, smiling more genuinely than before. Teachers greeted them proudly. Then someone noticed. Is that Ao? Is that Zainab? Whispers returned, but this time they carried admiration. People asked questions. About work. About life. About how far they had come. The quiet new student. The observant girl. Together. During the reunion, they were asked to speak. Zainab went first. She talked about growth. About patience. About how confidence does not need to shout. She spoke about learning to understand before judging. The room listened. Ao followed. He spoke briefly, as always. He talked about peace. About staying true to yourself even when misunderstood. About how silence can carry purpose. The applause was long and sincere. Later that evening, as the sun set over the school compound, they walked slowly together. The same place where everything began. Do you ever think about that first day? Zainab asked. He smiled. All the time. They laughed softly. Years later, their home grew fuller. Children arrived. Curious eyes. Endless questions. Laughter that filled every room. They raised their children with patience, teaching them that strength does not always look loud, and confidence does not need to prove itself. Sometimes, on quiet evenings, they told stories. About school. About mistakes. About growth. About the power of kindness and understanding. And sometimes, when the house was quiet again, they sat together, grateful. Life had not been perfect. But it had been good. The new student arrived quietly. He found love. He found purpose. And together, they built a life that proved something important. Some stories do not need drama to matter. Some journeys do not need noise to be powerful. Some happy endings are not loud celebrations, but peaceful mornings, shared dreams, and a family built on understanding. And that was enough.